You have heard of a great elder evil which lurks in the abysses of deep oceans. You, along with a crack team of adventurers, decide to try to hunt down one. You sail out to the abyssal trench, 100 miles west of Waterdeep. You drink your water breathing potions and begin to swim downwards. The band of adventurers comes across a cavern deep underground, filled with slimy, wet walls. You come across a puddle of water from which you drink. You immediately vomit and decide it's best to avoid the water around these parts. Finally, you come across the lair of the great beast. The Aboleth Uthun raises its three slit-like eyes out of the water and telepathically speaks to you. "Leave," it says, "or don't. I wouldn't mind a snack." The party begins charging forward when a whelming wave spouts out of the water pool and dex save. 4 plus 4 is 8. Not enough. The party is pulled prone into the water. The party takes their turn, standing up, readying themselves for battle. The cleric casts Bless on you. The ranger casts Hunter's Mark on the Aboleth. You prepare your sword for battle. Start of initiative. The Aboleth lets out a surge of psychic energy which ripples through the water. The party takes 8 psychic damage. You charge forwards and swing with your greatsword and hit. The mucus which surrounds the Aboleth shoots up and hits you in the face. You make a con save and nat 1. Your skin begins to magically turn translucent like a frog, and you lose the ability to breathe air. You croak out, "I can't breathe! I can't breathe!" Your party is frightened at the prospect and begins to rout. The 3 other party members abandon you in the pool. This is what I get for hiring sellswords, you think to yourself. The Aboleth uses its enslavement magic on you, and you're so broken that you don't resist. You're now forever indentured into serving this horror. You can't escape, because it's the Aboleth who gives you the ability to breathe underwater, so you couldn't make it to the surface before drowning. So here you are, stuck, forever. Today's video is on the Aboleth. There are going to be 2 main overarching themes. Firstly, what the Monster Manual does tell you, and secondly, what the Monster Manual does not tell you. So let's begin with what the Monster Manual tells you. First up, their stats. Aboleths are large, lawful evil aberrations. They have superhuman strength, as well as very high con, intelligence, and charisma, as well as average dex. They're amphibious and are capable of speaking through telepathy. Aboleths have powerful enslavement magic, which they can use to magically charm creatures. Aboleths are said to have flawless memories. They can pass on their memories through generations, which makes them treasure troves of ancient lore. Their memory allows them to hold grudges which can last eons. Few can conceive of an Aboleth's plan. When an Aboleth consumes a creature, they are able to add the knowledge and experience of their prey to their eternal memories, specifically those which are tied to strong emotions, such as trauma or love. Aboleths are gods in the lake. Aboleths dwell fathoms below in deep waters, such as open ocean abysses, deep lakes, or in the elemental plane of water. Aboleths have a form of telepathy, which allows them to read minds of creatures and know their desires. Aboleths can then promise to fulfill these desires in exchange for loyalty. Then, within its lair, the Aboleth can use its powers to give its servants the illusion of the promised rewards. The Aboleths are enemies of the gods. Aboleths can never truly die. If their body is destroyed, then its spirit returns to the elemental plane of water, where a new body coalesces over days and months. The Aboleth's ultimate goal is to regain control of the world for which they have untold eons to plot and prepare their plans for perfect execution. Aboleths have lair effects and regional effects. First up, the lair effects. An Aboleth can use Phantasmal Force as an action. Pools of water within 90 feet of the Aboleth can surge out in a grasping tide. Water in the Aboleth's lair can act as a magical conduit and deal psychic damage. Now the regional effects. Underground surfaces within 1 mile of an Aboleth's lair are slimy, wet, and difficult terrain. Water within 1 mile of the lair is supernaturally fouled, causing drinkers to vomit. And an Aboleth can create an illusory image of itself, through which it can sense, speak, and use telepathy. Next up, what the Monster Manual doesn't tell you. So first off, what they look like. Aboleth are fish or eel-like amphibians, which can reach 20 feet long and weigh 6,500 pounds. Aboleth's underbellies are often pink, while their top side is typically sea green. Aboleths have 4 pulsating blue orifices along the bottom of their bodies from which they secrete slime. Aboleths have a single large tail for propulsion through water and tentacles along their sides to drag them across land. Aboleths see using three slit-like eyes which rest upon a bony ridge along its head. Next up, biology. Aboleths cannot stay out of water for very long. For every hour they're out of the water, they begin losing dexterity until they become stuck, unable to move further. The outer layer of their skin becomes so dried out it turns to tough leather, and they are unable to move. This does not kill the aboleth, instead they're in a state of being known as the long dreaming, and it is a fate which many aboleths consider to be worse than death. Nextly, aboleths have a specialized organ called a millithast, which is located below the intestines, which produces its mucus. Small tangent about mucus. The mucus of an aboleth is what allows it to breathe in air or water. When an air-breathing creature comes in contact with the mucus of an aboleth, its skin turns translucent and it loses the ability to breathe in air and can now only breathe in water. This is what allows the aboleths to enslave air-breathing creatures in its often underwater layers. Nextly, aboleths are hermaphroditic. When they breed in private, they produce 1 to 3 eggs every 5 years. When laid, these eggs gestate for 5 years before hatching into fully functional aboleths, with the exception of not yet having their psionic powers. Aboleths' brains are so large that they typically take up 20% of their total body mass. Aboleths, in fact, have 2 hearts, one which is normal function, red blood, and it provides blood to the aboleth's body, but it also has a second heart which pumps black blood and which provides specific enzymes as well as oxygen to the brains of the aboleth. Aboleth's brains have 5 lobes, all with different functions that I won't really go into. The largest lobe is the ventral lobe, which is an ever-growing section which grows as it collects more memories. The largest living aboleths have a ventral lobe which extends out of their skull and almost reaches their tail. It's protected by a specialized tissue which is said to be as strong as bone but still flexible. That is today's video on the aboleths. Hope you enjoyed. If you've made it this far, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. I will read all comments. Thanks for listening.